Alright then. Hello everybody. My name is Arcanoi. I'm going to be trying to cast this game for you today. We've got a game between Monomaniac and Dignitas here. We've got Nintendo decks on Olaf, Monomaniac Zion Spartan on Lee Sin, Pixel on Janna, Zig on Kog'Maw, Paradoxical on Morgana, Dominate on Mundo, I'm a Cutie Pie on Ash, Skara on Rise, Locust on Soraka, and Voyboy on Vladimir. Big things about this team comps rather. Paradoxical's on Morgana. That's sort of his second go-to pick after Cassiopeia, who almost always gets picked or banned away from Monomaniac just because he's so strong on Cassiopeia. Zion Spartan playing Lee Sin. Zion Spartan's a very experienced Lee Sin player, a very experienced Riven player as well. He's quite a fan of playing those two characters. Other characters, or rather, other things to note about the team comps. Monomaniac has a very strong team comp, especially in the mid game. Just with Morgana, Olaf, and Lee Sin, they scale into the mid game very well. Though they do fall off a little bit into the late game, but Kog'Maw scales very well all game long. Dignitas has just great scaling straight into the late game. They scale all game long. Scar's actually going to get caught here by Zion Spartan and get chunked down to half health with a nice Q. So Monomaniac's going to continue to invade the jungle. Notice Pixel placed a very nice ward down here. So if Dignitas tries to counter invade their jungle, they'll know about it without any problems, and they'll probably be able to counter it. Or at least be aware of when their buffs are going down. Doesn't look like Dignitas is trying to move in to stop it. And they do see V, their blue jungle, and see Mundo setting up to take his wolves. So that they know that no one's going to try to stop them, so they move Zig back down towards bottom lane so that he doesn't miss any CS. And you see Janna also backing here. At 140, they're going to take the Wraith camp, and then they're going to take red buff. They see Locust coming down here. Probably placed a ward over there. Yeah, he placed a ward. So now they know that there's a ward there as well. And they take the Wraiths. They leave a little one just because leaving a little one is a very good idea. It stops the camp from resetting, which in the new jungle, because the resets timers are only a minute long, you can take your wolves, take your blue, and then by the time you get to Wraiths, they'll be up if you take the entire thing. And they also they take the last little minion on red, so they have the timer on it, so they can contest it later. And they see Mundo. They see Mundo going into their jungle. So you're gonna see Olaf. He's probably gonna head straight down. And you see bottom lane move folding in on their jungle. Morgana's gonna come in, and Olaf heads straight down. He doesn't even go for his blue buff. He just heads straight down on Dominate. Dominate does not have a flash here, so he has to run this way, and he may not get out. You see very nice axe going down from Olaf, and it looks like Dominate's going to go down for first blood. It's actually going to go to Janna. If they had given that to Morgana or Kog'Maw, they probably could have destroyed their lanes very easily with that double buff. I mean, Janna's still going to be able to bully pretty extensively with that double buff, but it's not as good as if Morgana or Kog'Maw had gotten it. But it's still a very nice play by Monomaniac to pick up first blood gold and just deny Mundo all those buffs. So they've actually denied Mundo now 3 buffs. They've taken his blue buff, their red buff, and Mundo's red buff. It's a very nice play. That ward did tons of work already. Top lane, we've got Lee Sin versus Vlad. It's pretty even until level 9, where well, it's actually a pretty even lane, pretty much all game long. When both characters start getting really strong, they pretty much cancel each other out. Lee Sin can put a lot of harass down on Vlad, but Vlad's got so much sustain, just passively, and once he gets his Will of the Ancients. But Zion Spartan can still buy items like the new item Maw of Malmortius, which scales very, very well for Lee Sin and gives him MR and damage. Skara versus Paradoxical on Rise versus Morgana mid lane. Rise is not really that strong of a laner, actually. He scales very well into the late game because he can build tank items as damage, but without those items, he's actually very squishy, very short range, not all that much damage without CDR, and mana, of course. And Morgana also excels at turning lanes into farm lanes, though because of how strong she is with her binding and her ultimate, she can get kills as well. That's why she's so good, because she's so safe with her shield and her snare as well. Olaf is going to go in on Voyboy here. He's going to land the first axe, very nice, but he's going to miss the second axe, and Voyboy is going to survive pretty well. He didn't even have to pull there. Nintendo X is going to camp in this bush. If he chooses to back, he's going to back in this bush just to zone Voyboy a little more, so Voyboy doesn't know exactly when he's gone back. Paradoxal is going to come up from mid, but Voyboy is going to do a very nice pull under that binding, and he's going to get away just fine. So now Nintendo X is going to back in the bush, and Morgana is going to head back mid. Now, Morgana, before heading up, Morgana shoved Ryze to his turret with Black Pool, so Ryze was not able to push to her turret and deny her any CS with her turret. Now, bot lane is Soraka Ashe versus Kog'Maw Janna. Early game, Kog'Maw Janna is just stronger. Janna's just a very strong support all game long. But once we get towards level 5, level 7, we're going to see Ashe and Soraka just be able to sustain through any harass and volley the lane with Soraka's mana sustain, because that's going to allow them to just push the wave if it gets pushed at all, and sort of zone off any harass that comes at them. So the lane should equalize by 7, although Kog'Maw's probably actually... No, he's actually not ahead. I thought he might have been ahead with that double buff on Janna, but it didn't turn out much. Olaf is going to come in here, actually catch Locust with a very nice axe, just land another axe, he's going to E, and it's going to take Soraka down. Yeah, Olaf is a very strong ganker at level 5, just because of how much damage. He does 160 true damage. That's like what most abilities do at level 4, and it only has a 7-second cooldown. It's very strong. Axes, the cooldown's a little bit higher on them now. It's gone up to 3.5 seconds if you pick it up, but it's still very, very good. You see Morgana just continuing to shove Ryze to his oh, and Morgana's hit 6. Ryze is still only at 5, so they're gonna go and just take this blue buff. That's another thing about Ryze, where Ryze is weak. He doesn't get much stronger with 6. Morgana's gonna land a nice dark binding, and Mundo's just gonna go down instantly. They're gonna burst right through him. That's another thing. Morgana's very strong when she hits 6. Her ultimate does so much damage. It's a 1.4 AP ratio on each target it hits. Does so much damage. And that's... Mundo's now 0-2. He's really far behind. Olaf is 1-0-2. He's just really far behind. Olaf has participated in every single kill that Monomaniac has gotten so far. And we see Zion Spartan actually picking up. Nintendo Dex is very low, but it looks like they're gonna take this dragon just fine. Yeah, Dignitas can't contest with I Will Dominate dead and so far behind. Zion Spartan was taking his enemy's jungle, which is very good if you're ahead, or if you just want to get ahead, because you just get free CS. Now, I don't think Zion Spartan can kill Voyboy here. I don't think he has enough damage yet. He actually started 2 null magic mantles, going for that Hex Drinker and Vert Treads. Negates a lot of Vlad's damage. He's up at 100 MR. But Voyboy should be alright, just because of how much sustain he gets for free with his E and his Q. Now, Morgana's pretty far ahead of Ryze here, I think. She's about 500 gold ahead of him, just because of that. Even though she's down 10 CS, she's up 2 kills. She's pretty far ahead of him, actually. And Kog'Maw is 10 CS ahead of Ashe now. Kog'Maw is going to get really strong, and if Dignitas doesn't start winning their other lanes, they're just going to lose this game, because Mundo's so far behind. Now, we see Morgana coming up top, but I believe Dignitas has a ward somewhere around here, so they saw him coming up. Dominate's just gonna take Big Wraith. Oh no, he didn't get it actually. Oh no, he did. Very nice cleaver by Dominate there to pick up that last hit on that blue Wraith. So Skara got blue buff. I think this is actually no. Okay. Monomaniac took their blue a little late, so Ryze actually ended up getting his own blue buff. Monomaniac backed out and took Dragon after they took down Mundo rather than stealing the blue buff. Zion Spartan's just going to keep going in on Voyboy here. I'm not sure how much of this harass is going to stick. Vlad's got very good sustain. So while I don't think Voyboy can put much damage on Zion Spartan, Voyboy's not going to be taking that much damage himself. Or at least not much is going to stick. So Nintendo Dex is coming up here for a tower dive on Voyboy. I'm pretty sure that Dignitas has a ward here, so they may know, oh, there's Dominate there coming to cover the lane, and it looks like they're just going to dive straight on him. He's pretty far behind, and they're going to throw an Ignite down on him, and he's just going to get bursted down. Zion Spartan going very low, nice arrow, but he's just out of range of the turret, and Nintendo Dex is actually going to get away as well. Very low, both of them under 200 HP. But I don't think anyone from Dignitas is in the position to contest it, or rather to catch them. Yeah, Paradoxical actually pinned Ryze in mid just by pushing up to his turret to stop him from moving at all. Paradoxical's been doing a very good job of that this game. Ryze hasn't been able to leave his lane at all. Both AD carries actually picking up 3 Doran's Blades. It's a bit unconventional. Generally, you only see 2. Both of them really feel like they want to win their lanes, which kind of makes sense because the rest of Dignitas isn't doing very well. Morgana has kills. Lee Sin does better than Vlad in the early mid game, and Olaf is just really far ahead of Mundo right now. And of course, Kog'Maw, you never really want to be CSing under your turret. It's safe, but you miss a lot of CS. I mean, even pros miss some CSing under their turrets. Mundo's covering mid, just because Morgana's probably been running Ryze out of mana just by continuously pooling, or throwing Black Pool onto the wave, and she misses some CS. She's down 10 CS. You're gonna miss some CS when you just Black Pool the lane like that, but it's not too bad because you're generally, if you're not facing up against Skara, the enemy player also misses some CS just because he's forced to CS under turret. We see Nintendo Dex coming up through this bush, so we're going to see Monomaniac start pushing a bit. They're going to push this lane up to their turret, and then Nintendo Dex is going to come into this bush. They saw Skara here, but they also saw him head back up, so they know exactly where he is. You see Monomaniac pushing up the lane. So Nintendo Dex is going to move it up into this bush. They probably don't know he's there. I don't know if they have any wards in here. But if they don't, and they push up to here, Olaf is just going to throw out an axe, E someone, Janna's going to throw out a Q, Kog'Maw's going to throw it on his E, and they're just going to die. But very nice hawk shot by Ashe, and they're going to see Nintendo Dex and avert certain disaster. So Ryze continuing to farm mid. Morgana's just gonna farming the small camps as mid is very important. You get a lot of bonus gold. You pick up a lot of extra CS. That's how Skara gets above 200 CS at 20 minutes when he's doing well. Though he's not doing very well. He's been basically pinned to his turret all game. Morgana's gonna head up top. Voyboy and Zion Spartan just continuing to skirmish. Zion Spartan actually picked up 2 Doran's Blades after his Morgana's gonna miss the snare, but Zion Spartan actually picked up 2 Doran's Blades after his Null Magic Mantles. Sort of amusing. Now Scar's gonna attempt to push to his turret here, or attempt to push to Monomaniac's turret, but Olaf is gonna come in time, so they won't miss any gold or experience. So, pretty even thus, or rather, Dignitas is quite far behind actually, and Monomaniac is going to come up and contest this again. There's 3 members of Dignitas here, but it looks like I think they're just going to get it that time. Oh, nice snipe by Paradoxical to pick up that blue buff. It's a very nice snipe. So now Paradoxical's much stronger than Rise. Rise doesn't have his blue buff. He only has his Catalyst and his Tears, so he's pretty squishy. He doesn't really have any tank, although he does do a bit of damage now. But it looks like Monomaniac's just going to bring all 5 members in here for this dragon. I don't think Dignitas can contest this. Mundo's really far behind. He doesn't really have that much tank. Yeah, they're just going to take it. And they're going to catch Ashe here. Janna moved in, and they're just going to force her down. Janna moved in, caught her with a very nice W and then a Q. It was a very nice play by Pixel. I'm a Cutie Pie, just positioned poorly. They're probably gonna move in for a tower dive here on Locust, but Locust is moving away. I'm not sure if they're gonna catch her. He's gonna throw out the axe. Very nice juke actually by very nice juke back by Locust. So Locust is gonna get away just fine rather. And Dominate's gonna come in and just cover for her. But they're both gonna get away. But Dignitas is down 2 dragons and 5 kills. I do not see them really coming back from this. Monomaniac's team comp is a bit too good into the middle game for them to really get any. Dignitas needs to get like an ace for 1 or an ace for 2, and some sort of big objective, either a dragon, a baron, or a turret, for them to even remotely have a chance of coming back. They're probably down 2,000, 3,000 gold right now. CS is pretty even all around. Ashe is down 10 CS, or 15 CS, Scar is up 5 CS, Voivoy's up 10 CS. CS is pretty even all around. Mundo's a bit ahead of Olaf, but Olaf has 5 kills participated in, Mundo's has 3 deaths. So, though it seems relatively even on the CS, they're just down 2 dragons, and I think, no, they haven't picked up a turret yet. No turrets have gone down yet, actually. So, just, Dignitas, at this point, Monomaniac just has to play solidly, and I don't think Dignitas can come back. It's Monomaniac's game to lose at this point, I feel. I don't feel quite as strong as Dan, but I feel pretty strongly about that. Zion Spartan finally picking up his Merc Treads and his Hex Drinker after his 2 Doran's Blades. And they're just gonna move up here and put lots of damage on this turret. Morgana just did like half of Mundo's health with 1 Q and Pool. She's pretty far ahead and Mundo's pretty far behind. They're just gonna move up here and put more damage on this turret. It's almost down. Ashe is pretty far behind now. Zig has participated in 3 kills. He's up 20 CS. It's pretty bad. They're gonna dive in on Scar here. Scar is gonna try to kite away, and he's gonna get dived by Zion Spartan. He looks like he's gonna go down, but Zion Spartan's taking a whole bunch of damage. Zion Spartan is gonna go down, and Dominate is not gonna go down either. Skrok is gonna come in. Morgana's gonna go down as well. They dove a bit too hard there. There wasn't really any support, and Locust came in, and Dominate was in a good position to make that gank not really worth it. They probably should have just taken this turret. It's not quite, it wasn't worth it. It simply wasn't worth it. They lost a spree, I believe. No, they didn't lose a spree, actually. No, they did not lose a spree. But they definitely came up behind on that, just because they were worth 300 gold each, and they gave away assists. Assists actually bring up the total gold on a kill to about 500. They give it an additional 70% gold. So don't ever complain about being CS'd. You're increasing the amount of, or rather KS'd. You're increasing the amount of gold that's going to your team by about 70%. And if you're the only person to get an assist on that kill, you're still getting 70% of the gold, which is only about 90 gold less than the full gold on a kill. Which is, you know, very good. Still very good. You're still getting 10 CS out of it. Voivoy's just continuing to farm up here. Dignitas hasn't made any plays. They turned that 1 dive, but they are still very far behind. And I think this team comp is just gonna weight them down. Ashe is too far behind. She's not going to do very much damage compared to Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw's going to do a lot of damage. He's 1,000 gold ahead of her. With his because of how Kog'Maw's kit works, he gets so much free damage just from free attack speed on his Q, free attack range and damage on his W, and the really strong slow on his E. He gets a lot of free stuff that most other AD carries don't. That's why he's so powerful, especially into the late game. So they see Ashe poking around here, and Paradoxical is going to go into their jungle, but I do not. Oh, Ashe is actually going to come around here, and Paradoxical is going to throw a bind and miss it. Wow, that was close. If Paradoxical had landed that, Ashe was dead for sure. There's no question about it. Paradoxical would have bursted down from 100%, no problem. But it looks like Dragon's going to be up in about 20 seconds, so Monomaniac has the timer, and they're going to move in on this. But I think Dignitas has the timer as well. We see AmaCutiePie go into that bush, and he's just going to get bursted down instantly. It was terrible positioning by AmaCutiePie. Paradoxical's going to go low, but I don't think Dignitas is going to be able to chase this. Without their AD carry, they're just too weak. They don't have enough damage. And Dragon's going to come up any second now, and Monomaniac's going to take it pretty much uncontested, I think. Does look like Dignitas is actually going to come in here. Monomaniac knows it. They see they have very good wards throughout this entire jungle. Monomaniac or Paradoxical is very low, but I think Dignitas is also Scar is half health, Locust is half health, and Dragon's gonna come up, and Paradoxical is gonna throw down a pool under the dragon and spell vamp a little bit. Now Dignitas is gonna move in here, but Olaf is gonna do a nice smite and outsmite dominate and get the dragon, and Dignitas simply doesn't have enough damage to fight them. We see Zion Spartan coming down here. It does not look like he's going to try to make a play on Skara. The rest of his team is backing, so it wouldn't be a wise choice anyway. But yeah, that's the third dragon now for Monomaniacs. Dignitas is really on the back foot here. Ashe went down again. She's 0-2, I believe. Yeah, she's 0-2. She's probably 2,000 gold behind Zig. So Zig is doing just so much more damage than her. All of Monomaniac is doing a lot more damage than Dignitas. Olaf is probably tankier than Mundo at this point, just because of how far behind Mundo is. He picked up 2 kills, but he still has those 3 deaths. And it looks like Monomaniac is going to move up top. I believe there's a Dignitas ward around here somewhere. I picked that up. They see Mundo with that CV, but he's just going to back away just fine. Voyboy and Zion Spartan continuing the skirmish. If nothing else, this lane is pretty even, but Zion Spartan's at least been pitting Voyboy in, so Voyboy hasn't been able to make any plays. They're going to continue just to be really aggressive going into Dignitas' jungle. There's not much Dignitas can do to stop them. Morgana can burst down pretty much anyone 1v1. But we see Dignitas, Skara, and Mundo heading up here. Voyboy gets caught by a binding, but he is pretty tanky. He's going to throw down a pool, but Morgana does so much damage. She's going to ult and take out half his health, and he's going to go down. Paradoxical's really far ahead. Nice kick by Lee Sin to kick away the rest of Dignitas. It looked like he saved Pixel rather there. Dominate's going to take a binding, and Olaf's just going to go in. Olaf's doing so much damage. Locust is going to go down. And Monomaniac is doing so much damage. Dominate's going to go down. Zion Spartan's going to queue in. And Ashe is going to flash over the wall as Zion Spartan comes in, and she's going to kill him. It was a very slick flash by AmaCutiePie. There was still a 3-for-1 engagement. Monomaniac definitely came out ahead of that. And they could look to take Baron here if they have enough sustain. If they can keep Olaf alive through it. They see Skara. They've got so many wards in Dignitas' jungle, and they're going to land a bind on him. They're just going to land a bind on him and kill him. That was a bad play by Skara. And yeah, they're going to go for Baron here. I'm not sure if they have enough sustain to tank it here. They may just be able to do it with Janna shields and just trading tank aggro. Morgana's going really low. Olaf is still pretty low. but Kog'Maw can move in and tank it. He's got enough lifesteal that they should be able to take it down. And there goes the Baron. At this point, the game's pretty much over. There's nothing Dignitas can do at this point, unless Monomaniac throws the game really, really hard. There's just nothing that Dignitas can do. Dignitas has to make some sort of play, make some sort of enormous play. Monomaniac has to just run in one by one and die or something, because with Baron, there's no way that Dignitas can fight them. All of them are really far ahead. Zig's probably 3,000 gold ahead of Ashe now. Morgana's probably 2,000 ahead of Ryze, doing so much damage, almost has her Abyssals at 24 minutes. She has a death cap and most of her Abyssals at 25 minutes. That's ridiculous. Scar is going to pick up his blue buff this time. I don't think that... No one's from Monomaniac is going to be there in time to stop him. But I don't think it matters. I don't think Dignitas can win this game anymore. They're just so far behind. All of Dignitas scales really well, but they just don't have the time and they don't have the gold to scale at all. Like I said, Monomaniacs has a very dominant mid-game. They're gonna move in and just shove Dignitas off this turret. Locust gets half health by that one Q sitting in that pool. They see Zion Spartan off to the side. Probably could have gone in on Ashe there. Continuing to go in on they're just gonna push here. Baron gives so much. The power of Baron isn't only in the free AP and AD. You get a lot of health regen and mono regen from this. It's almost as much as blue buff now. The nerfs to blue buff. And they're just gonna take this turret just fine. Dignitas can't shove them off. If Morgana ults anyone, they just die. If Morgana lands a Q on anyone, they probably die as well. Morgana can just clear an entire wave with her puddle now. And it looks like Monomaniac is going to transition bot. They don't want to try a tower dive on Dignitas right here, which makes some sense. It's not worth trying to dive like that. But they probably would have been successful if they've gone in. They're just so far ahead right now. So they're just going to move in and take this turret the same way they took the last turret. No problem. There's nothing Dignitas can do at this point, I think. They're going to put a lot of damage on Zion Spartan, but he's just going to shield it off, and he's going to be fine. If Morgana lands anything on anybody, they just die. Like, I don't think there's anything Dignitas can do. They're just going to move in and probably just roll in and take this turret the same way. They're going to land a bind on Scar, and he's going to get half health as well. He has to flash just to survive. They're going to throw down a melee range arrow, and they're going to try to disengage. They might kill Zion Spartan here. No, Zion Spartan gets away with a lot of shields on him. Hex Drinker shield, Morgana shield, Janna shield. And it looks like they're just gonna... No, they're gonna continue to go in here, I think. Zion Spartan is low, and wow, Morgana just lands a binding over the wall and kills her with ultimate. Morgana just full health, just did 130% of Ashe's health with her ultimate and her Q. So much damage coming out of Morgana. Now the question is whether, I guess they're going to just roll in here and take this inhibitor. Yeah, there's nothing Dignitas can do to stop them. That Zion Spartan's almost back to full health just because of his spell vamp and his regeneration from Baron. So the inhibitor's going to go down. They're going to take Dragon. They may back or they'll head mid. Doesn't really matter at this point. Like I said, it's Monomaniac's game to lose. And yeah, they've been pretty much dominant all game long. All these wards in Dignitas' jungle, very, very solid play all around. They haven't made many mistakes beyond that. Beyond the one dive here on Scar in mid, they've been pretty much flawless all game long. And because of the way the team comps worked out, it was once Dignitas got behind, it was that they had to make some sort of play to get back in the game, and they just never made the play. Very impressive play coming out of Monomaniacs all around. They're going to give Morgana blue buff. Their Baron's gone now, but I assume Baron should be up in about 1 to 2 minutes. So they'll just stick around here with the bottom inhibitor down. Dignitas has to either leave someone back there or risk getting their base turrets pushed in, and that would cause the rest of their turrets to get pushed in as well. So it's just a very bad situation for Dignitas. Unless Monomaniac makes some sort of colossal mistake, they can't lose at this point. And they're gonna continue to place all these aggressive wards. Ward. There's nowhere Dignitas can come in from that Monomaniac wouldn't know about it. So they're gonna move in, just take down this turret. They may either push in here. They're so far ahead at this point, they don't even need Baron. They can just push in and probably tower dive them at this point. Or they can just wait for a Morgana. If a Morgana ever lands a snare, they can just go in and win the game. Continue to poke with Kog'Maw's ultimate. The damage isn't that high. Wow. And Cutie-Pie takes she's just gonna go down. Cutie-Pie took a binding there. Dignitas is gonna try to counter-engage. Janna's gonna throw out her ultimate to disengage. I don't even think Dignitas rather has enough damage here. I don't think they can do anything. But now that Ashe is down, they're just gonna roll it back in on the next creep wave, and they're gonna take down the turret just fine. Cute little ward there for Zion Spartan to jump to. Didn't amount to much. But they're gonna take this turret down. Scar takes a binding, and they're just gonna go in on him. Morgana does so much damage, he drops down instantly. And they're just gonna take this. They're gonna take this inhibitor, I think. No, they're not. They're actually gonna back out here. I guess they see that all of Dignitas here is at full health. I think they'd probably still be able to fight it. Arrow's gonna go down, narrowly miss both Morgana and Kog'Maw. If that had been hit, they probably would have gotten a kill or two there. But they managed to dodge it rather. Lots of damage on mid turret. Dignitas's bottom Nexus turret actually went down just because of the super minions. I don't think there's much that Dignitas can do at this point. Like I said, Monomaniac's just been making very solid play all game long. No mistakes, no big mistakes. And here, now that they've taken down this turret, they're just gonna go for Baron. There's nothing Dignitas can do to stop them. They're just gonna take this Baron, roll in, and finish the game. Dignitas has grouped for this, but I think they're too weak. Zig is 3,000 gold ahead of ahead of Ashe. Morgana's several thousand gold ahead of Rise, 2,000 at least. We see Dominate coming around here. Might try for a smite steal, but he does not have flash, so he cannot flash over the wall. Morgana's gonna move over here in the zone, and they're gonna take Baron for free. They had to leave Skara back at base just to defend it from the super minions. And it looks like they're gonna roll in, push down top inhibitor, and just they're gonna take down middle inhibitor and just win this game. I think Dignitas is too weak. They're down 11 kills, three dragons, 2 barons, probably 10 to 15,000 gold. And they're gonna take down both of these inhibitors as well. They're gonna try to back out here. Zion Spartan's actually gonna get caught and take a lot of damage. When Morgana throws out Janna throws down her ultimate to disengage. Morgana goes in here, does so much damage, but she's actually gonna go down. Vlad died on the other hand. Dominate's gonna go down, Locust is gonna go down. We're just gonna focus on Cutie-Pie here. And then Scar is gonna go down. Zig actually falls, but it doesn't matter at this point. Olaf and Lee Sin are still up. And they're just gonna push here for game. Like I said, very solid play by Monomaniac. Very few mistakes. Very strong team comp, very strong picks. They snowballed from the little advantages into the mid game with their very strong mid game comp, and just took advantage of it. They also had very aggressive warding in Dignitas's jungle all game long. They contested the first blue buff, they contested the second blue buff, they contested the fourth blue buff, I believe, and they shut down Dignitas every single time they tried to make a play. It was just very... It was Dignitas's game to win initially, and they just couldn't make any plays. So it was just very solid playing from ahead play by Monomaniac all game long.